Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wilson Live, Episode 8. I'm Bart Barker alongside Carter Noblin, our Fine Arts Coordinator for Wilson County Schools and the Executive Producer of Wilson Live. Couldn't make the show happen without him. We also couldn't make the show happen without two of our very special guests today. But before I get to that, this will give you a little teaser on exactly who these two very special ladies are that we brought in studio today for our guests. This episode is brought to you by Gina and Lena, your trusted real estate team with Coldwell Banker-Southern Realty, with over 30 years of combined experience and a background as former educators with Wilson County Schools. Gina and Lena bring unmatched dedication, communication, and care to every client. Whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring your options, they'll guide you with the heart of a teacher and the knowledge of seasoned professionals. I mean, that's who you want on your side, for sure.
Always.
Always, right? All right, ready to make your next move? Contact Gina and Lena at Coldwell Banker-Southern Realty. And here they are, Gina and Lena. Thank you so much for joining us for Wilson Live. The podcast is, again, they have been so gracious to sponsor this podcast, and we're off to a great start with this. Much more content as we keep rolling on, but we're off to a very, very good start. And thank you, ladies, so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. We're glad to be here.
Yes. Well, and it's funny, this kind of came as a conversation that both Bart and I had. And then I think we ran into each other randomly, and it's just all been really organic. And all of this stuff here, we're just thankful for what you all have been able to do. Not just for us, but you know, this gives us an opportunity to give some folks a voice that might not have otherwise. And this is just a really unique outlet for us. So
yeah, it's
awesome.
This is, you know, with community support is always important. You heard me mention it in the ad opener. You know, they are former educators. They understand what it's like to be in those schools and working so hard day in and day out. But also too, I think they understand too that families receive communication in a lot of different ways, and we've been doing a lot of different platforms and methods for a while. The podcast just kind of gives it another avenue where people can consume the information and maybe learn something they didn't know. And hopefully that's what Carter and I are trying to do along the way is educate families and stakeholders, anyone in the community who just wants to know more about Wilson County Schools.
well, and you're right. It allows us to connect with people like Gina and Lena that are pretty valuable to what we do, not just you and I, but to a lot of our schools. You know, they'll tell us a little bit about some of their background here in a second, but firsthand experience with both of them, the impact that they have, and there's lots of people in our community that have impact in our school system. So this is just a really unique opportunity for us to engage with those folks.
So Carter, if you go ahead and pull him up on cam or either the shot, just so people know, can Gina raise your hand? And Lena, raise your hand. We put, it rhymes. We put faces with names. People are like, well, which one's Gina and which one's Lena? So you now have identification on which who's who. So Gina and Lena in studio today. Carter, let's get. This is gonna be a fun, laid-back episode. This is more of a episode of gratitude and thankfulness for them, but it's also a chance to get to know them better because they are the title sponsors for the podcast for Wilson Live. The name Wilson Live just kind of, we Carter and I, we just kind of threw some things against the wall and to see what would stick. And I don't know, this was it was short to the point. And when you put Wilson in there, it means everybody. And even those outside the Wilson borders, if they want to peek in and see what's going on, come on in. There's room for everyone. But it's just, that's the name. We hope you approve the name. I don't know if we ever said it.
Yes, definitely.
Carter, let's get right to it with them. Their educational background, and I think that's going to hit home to a lot of our families. You have been in those schools, and whichever one you want to start first, kind of give us that educational background of what it was, where you taught, how long you taught, what grade, those sorts of things, and you guys can just play off each other on that question.
Absolutely. So I moved to Middle Tennessee about 33 years ago after graduating from University of Georgia and did a little stint in the music industry for a little while to begin with, and then went back to my love of teaching, and I taught first grade for 7 or 8 years. I can't remember exactly how many, at Stoner Creek Elementary.
Okay.
Which is where Lena and I first met because we actually taught together. And that's been now, almost 25 years ago or so. So that's my background, Stoner Creek Elementary, 7 or 8 years ago.
And I'm originally from Illinois. But
Okay.
I got my BME, or my Bachelor's of Music Education, in the University of Evansville, and then met my husband one time down here, and moved down here. And I worked at Stoner Creek with the music for about 15 years.
Wow. Okay.
And then once I retired or stepped away, I still went back and directed their musicals for about 3 or 4 years until COVID hit and we couldn't do it for a while.
Sure.
So, yeah. So,
What was your last year at Stoner?
2016.
2016, and then you were involved up until.
Yeah.
So you were right there. You know, you were in the older building, and then of course everyone, if you're from Wilson County or been here for a while, you know what happened. Tornado took West Wilson Middle, then Stoner Creek Elementary. Both have since been rebuilt with beautiful new buildings.
It is.
But I always remember I had only been on the job for about about 7 months or so from coming over from News 2 in Nashville to this life. Go work in public education, they said. And it was great. It's still great. I love it. But you talk about that first year, a devastating tornado that took 2 of our schools, and then COVID on the back end of that. And I mean, it got to be quite overwhelming for a while, but I'm glad I had the training that I did in all those years of news, because I do feel like that prepared me for all of that was to come. But I never forget, there's a camera on the side of the building of the gym that picked up the entire tornado as it came through. Just such power. And I think we all can obviously agree. Thank goodness that storm came at, just after midnight rather than the middle of the day. Because if it did, I think we're talking about a lot of different things. Surveying the damage out there, one of the most incredible things, this is how the forces of nature and the amazing just nuances and oddities of nature, you had walls torn down, especially in the kind of like the TLC area, where kind of the babies would be, but over on the same room side, neatly stacked diapers over in the corner. I mean, it's
crazy.
Isn't that unreal? But meanwhile, you got that room just completely demolished almost with a wall, turned into the room and everything in complete disarray, but neatly stacked diapers over there. It's crazy.
That was a crazy time too. I tell you, I give so many kudos to Wilson County Schools during that time. We were hit pretty hard, not as hard as the rest of my neighborhood. I'm in the Pleasant Grove area, and Carter actually came over that day and helped cut down trees and that day. But I will say the Wilson County school system, they called so many times to check on Marianne, my daughter, that was in high school at the time. That was such a tough time, but the heartwarming of the community and Wilson County Schools was amazing during that time.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I don't know that we had any intent of kind of taking this route as we started our discussion, but I'm kind of glad it did, because you're right. That was 2020, so I had been teaching for 4.5 years, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night to all of these phone calls and all of these text messages going, "Hey, are you okay?" And I live in Murfreesboro, and it rained hard, but nothing like what happened in Wilson County. But then really quickly learning that we had some students that were affected, and then the next day, all of a sudden, the entire Wilson County community is turning out to support all these different folks. We spent the better part of that next week at different students' houses trying to help clear their properties, and I'll never forget. As I'm coming up Interstate 40, and it was the mid-afternoon. There was nobody out. It was really calm. It was actually a really pretty day that next day.
Yeah, it was.
And just kind of looking off at some of those warehouses to the side of 40 going, this just doesn't look normal. This doesn't look awful, but it doesn't look normal. And then getting off that exit in Mount Juliet and turning left and just having my breath taken away because it was so jarring. But then to turn down your street and see this flood of people, everyone there pulling debris, doing what they can to help. That's one of those. We watched Inside Out this weekend. One of those core memories. I can see that ball landing that I will take away for a long time. And one of the things that reminded me the power of our school system and the support that it provides our students and our families is almost immeasurable, because that's who was out there. That day it was a chunk of the band family, and then we were right across from West Wilson 2 days later with about 40 more folks.
Oh,
That's a lot.
Unbelievable time, but it was.
And those kinds of things certainly make communities stronger. And I think, of course, we all remember the COVID epidemic and what that was like. And then when that storm happened, students did not go back to school until that following August. And then there was kind of a hybrid situation. And then it just, but okay, yeah. Everyone's having PTSD. I'm like, oh my goodness. But we're fast forward to where we are today. Wow. Community, if you have strong community, while those things are very difficult, they're much easier to get through and overcome and look back on and say, you know what, that not only made us stronger, but in our personal lives, our school lives, our professional lives, but something like that happens and you move forward, but strong communities make it easier. And that's what we're fortunate to have. You ladies are are part of this community. You help a lot of people. I can only imagine, my wife and I went through this last year, buying a new home. Very, wow, it's just a lot, especially when you have 2 kids in tow and trying to find the right place. But I would imagine that in your current profession, that educator of that nurturer, trying to take care of your people, that probably kind of kicks in because you want to make sure that your customers or your clients are well taken care of, much like you did in a classroom years ago.
Yes.
Absolutely. You want to?
No, go ahead.
Okay. It's really funny because we use it in all aspects. I mean, all aspects. It definitely is. What we have always said is we absolutely love to help people. We don't sell houses. We're not talking you into a house. We truly love helping people, whether that is to sell their home, then we will market it in the best way possible. And one of the ways I get tickled that we even use our background is we tell people that we're talking to that are trying to decide who they're going to list with, we tell them, we sort of use our background in education because we know that learners, they all learn different ways. And so when we do a listing, we actually make sure that there is, remarks under all the pictures. There's video, there's, large remarks because somebody might just watch a video. Somebody might just look at pictures. And it's because of our background in education that we tell people that. And it's so very true. And between the nurturing part of both of us wanting to help people and just sort of understanding teaching, I think it makes a huge difference in how we do our job. So for sure.
Well, and you also, through that process, a home buyer or a seller learns a lot.
Yes.
And if they have someone there that is communicating well, that process is either if they're communicating well, it's a lot easier, and you learn a lot through that process. There have been lots of times where I've been driving around somewhere and had a question, and I call you both, and you don't give me the Carter, it's 9:00 at night. What are you doing?
Not at all.
You give me 5 minutes, and you teach me something about it, and there's a lot. In an investment that's that large, there is a lot to learn, and there needs to be a learning aspect of it, or else, we have these huge housing crises like we had 15 years ago. What year are we at?
It is,
about 15 years
to 17.
ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I think the other thing is too, is there's so many steps in buying or selling a home, and you don't do it every day. You don't do it every year. Some people don't do it every 20 years, and so you need to rely on someone to help you with every step, of that process. And it makes a big difference to have somebody that, we feel like we do educate you and keep you informed of those things. So, and that's our goal.
So talking about that process a little bit, knowing that you all are both Wilson County residents and probably work a whole lot in Wilson County. I know you push out into some other areas as well. What are some things, like when you're talking to a new client, that stand out about our school system? What are some of the selling points that you might have for somebody that's looking to move here?
When we talk about people moving to Wilson County, it's wonderful to be able to say that we have 15 reward schools, that we have, absolutely wonderful teachers that we've been a part of. We know a lot of them. And so school system is definitely one of the great things that we talk about. But we also talk about that we are 15 minutes, 20 minutes from the airport.
That's
We
a
are-
big point too.
It is, because there are now that we have so many large companies, international companies moving to the Middle Tennessee area, it's fabulous that we're that close to the airport, and and you don't have to go through town to get to the airport.
Yeah.
So that part is wonderful. I think, like Lena was talking about, our community schools and our, we do have small communities within Wilson County, which is fabulous. So that's a big selling point. What's another thing that we definitely talk about when we talk
Well, I
about
think
people
the
moving to
thing
Wilson
about it, I know
County?
Mayor Hutto says this a lot when he speaks, and I know that Director of Schools Jeff Luttrell does too at meetings. People say they move here. When they have to move to the Nashville area, there's plenty of choices.
Right.
I mean, there's no shortage of choices. People want to make sure that their children are certainly taken care of on an educational front. That's first and foremost. I think, as both of us being parents, if we were someone moving near or far to Wilson, first thing we're going to ask, how are the schools?
Absolutely.
So I'm sure that's a big question that you guys get asked. But people, when they have those choices, they largely move here because of the educational advantages and the quality school system. And within LSSD and other educational opportunities outside the public sector that are here and available for people.
Well, and the other nice thing about our county is the fact that our taxes are low. So even if you're an empty nester at this point, moving to Wilson County is attractive. They're thinking about, possibly resale and that kind of thing. Good school systems always is good for resale. But we've got two great 55 and plus. Actually, we have more than that, but there are two big 55 plus communities. One that's a newer one that's coming right here in Lebanon. And it's just a great county suburb of Nashville to move to because of those many reasons.
I mean, you have the best of both here. I think you have that small community feel that I like. I've been here 37 years. All my boys went through Mount Juliet schools, but we're still close enough to Nashville that we have, the opportunities there as well. I just think to me, it's perfect. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yes.
And now you've got a beautiful elementary school right around the corner.
I have one right across the street from me.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful. And, I would rather have a school there than anything else.
Yeah.
I really would. I think it's important.
We need to get together and go see that music room sometime.
I would love to.
I think you would be blown away. It's beautiful.
Oh.
It is a really, really nice space.
I would love to.
And for those not for sure which school you're talking about.
Lagardo.
Lagardo. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Out of double
good
log
point.
cabin.
Yeah.
Lagardo, beautiful school. And also too, I think you ladies would agree with this too. 7-8 years ago, when I first came onto the scene here about 6 years ago, I had never really spent a whole lot of time in Watertown. I just full disclosure here, he's from Murfreesboro, or he lives in Murfreesboro. I also too live in Murfreesboro. So
I keep trying to get into Wilson County.
I know. Hey, look, we were close there for a moment. We have lots of family. My wife's family lives in Murfreesboro. She's from there. So, so when you have that kind of help and
Absolutely,
whole
we
story,
get that too. No,
but
we totally get that.
Wilson County is an incredible place. I love coming here every day. I spend a lot of my time and life here. But I used to say about 6 or 7 years ago that Watertown was one of the best kept secrets in Tennessee. Fast forward to where we are today. I don't think Watertown's much of a secret anymore.
No, it is not.
No, it is not.
Great schools, beautiful out there.
Yes.
But gorgeous, just area. But people, I've talked to all principals, and especially the high school principal, Mr. Brown. He says, we've had people just come. He said, when I go see the car line sometimes and see the tags that are, people just moving in, it's from all over the country.
Absolutely.
And they like that area out there that's very rural, but I call it a village out there because it has that village feel to it. And it's just very homey, and it just has this kind of Hallmark movie type setting,
It so does.
But he said, we just see more and more people coming here. And the numbers certainly show that as well. But Watertown, just one of those little gems that's in the southeastern part of the county. So I'm sure you guys probably get some inquiries about Watertown.
Yes, absolutely.
The people come and they want a little land,
Yeah.
and right now that's the area to go to, try to get a little land down there.
Yeah.
No,
So,
that's what my parents did.
Yeah.
I grew up in the heart of Mount Juliet, and when they were ready to move, they moved out into Watertown, got a little bit of land, not a ton of land, but a little bit of land, and are enjoying that that space.
Yeah.
A lot.
It is really nice out there.
So when this is a question we had on our sheet here. Did you initially start working together because your names rhyme? Is that, I mean, I thought that was an interesting question there. How did you? I know you guys have history together,
Right.
from education, but when did you ladies decide just to say, you know what, strength in numbers, we can join forces and do this together, and your names rhyme.
Yes.
Gina and Lena, what a branding. I mean, that just rolls off. But when did all that kind of start?
So go ahead.
Well, we were about ready to sell. I was living in Mount Juliet at the time, and Mary Ann was in my plays and musicals at Stoner Creek. So
Mary
Gina
Ann
was
is Gina's
Mary
daughter.
Ann, sorry,
Gina's
Gina's
daughter.
daughter. And so we'd gotten to know each other through that, kind of reconnected. And I said, we really want to sell our house and move out a little further. And so I said, I knew a lot of real estate agents, but I thought, nah, I'm going to get Gina. She'll help me out here. So she did. She helped us sell our house, and we moved out off 109, off Double Log Cabin. And I'd been teaching about 15 years, and my youngest was about to be a senior in high school. And I thought, I'm ready maybe to switch careers. I loved my job. I loved the kids and my teacher friends. But I just felt like I was ready for a change. And so Gina said, well, you might want to think about real estate. And I was like, I don't know. So I taught for a year and a half and did real estate. And then when I quit teaching, then she partnered with me.
Okay.
She wasn't going to partner with me until
I was sort of her
she was my mentor while I was,
because she came on with our company, and even before she got into it, she rode around with me whole summer, sort of like just sort of following me and seeing what I did, and
to see if she wanted to do that.
exactly and so then she did, she did teach the entire school year and work real estate, and did very well. I will say her first year, but the cool thing is when we were talking about it one night, I think actually the four of us, both our husbands were with us. We were out to dinner. And we started talking about possibly, partnering together and what our names should be. And then we said, the crazy thing is if we tell everything about us, which is kind of like that we have in common, because y'all, we are both former Smiths. Both our maiden names are former Smith. We both have one younger brother named David. And we both
worked at Stoner Creek.
We both worked at Stoner Creek, former teachers. And our names rhyme. So, it was meant to be.
There's some things that are just destined to happen.
It really
we'll
was.
Just put that in that category.
That's it.
We have been doing it now because I had been doing real estate. I'm in my 23rd year of real estate. Lena's in her 12th year of real estate. And so we partnered together about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So, I mean, we've been at this now for a little while. So, but it just was meant to be. It was.
Teaching moment, because maybe you can learn something here for those who are listening to this. You often hear people say, I wanted to go do real estate. I want to go do real estate. I want to go to, and because it is an attractive thing, obviously, a lot of earning power if you're successful at it and build up a good book of business, and it takes time. What would be a cautionary tale for those who say, you know what, I want to go into real estate? What if for someone who just has never done real estate a day in their life, what kind of expectations from a time standpoint? I would imagine if you have younger kids, it might be a little difficult because you've got to be able to be very flexible in what you do. So if someone's thinking to herself, you know what, I want to be like, Gina and Lena, I want to change in my career. Maybe I'm in something I don't really truly love or just whatever reason. If they think about the real estate route, what are some things they should know to be helpful hints if they're considering it? Because not that you're dissuading them, and you might be encouraging them, but just being honest with them. What is that?
Well, so I was our manager at our office for about 3 years. So I recruited people, and this is exactly the kind of thing I would tell them. You really have to have about 2 years worth of good savings, like living on savings. Right. I don't mean just getting by savings, because number one, you never want to be pressured to make money in real estate, because that makes you not a great realtor and not a great agent, because you want it all needs to happen organically, right? Because like I said, you are not you're not selling homes and buying homes in the sense of you're not talking people into anything, and you don't want that pressure on yourself. So you need to have a really good amount of savings saved up before you start, because like you said, it takes quite a while to get going. And I mean, I started when my daughter was 3 months, which was perfect timing because I quit teaching to be a stay-at-home mom. And so it took that good 3 or 4 years of me when I was staying home to, get my business really up and going, and gave me the opportunity to do that. And Marianne was a real estate agent in one of those little carriers I carried everywhere I went. But it was one of those things that you just need to have the time, and you need to have a good chunk of savings so that you don't feel pressured, because you don't want the pressure of money. And we've been very blessed that we have never had that pressure on us. So that is one thing I used to tell.
Just to set yourself up
for
for a smoother transition.
Absolutely.
If you come in there paycheck to paycheck and it's just a lot of demands, or maybe you have, look, we all have had debt at some point.
Sure.
Maybe it's something where you've got some debt hanging up. Maybe not the best time to really just kind of prioritize, maybe pay some of that off and put some things away, and then do the proper credentialing, testing, studying for what needs to be done, and then maybe pursue. So that's a great piece of advice. I don't think I've ever heard it put that way before. So we're learning things on the program.
We're always learning things. That's why we bring great people on, so we can learn these new things.
Anything?
And
what
it's
about
nothing
you?
like the TV shows that you watch.
No.
Just know that.
No, it is not
$1 million
like $1 million
listings?
I mean,
listings.
there are $1 million
It's
listings,
not.
but it's not like that show.
No.
Or House Hunters, where you just go see 3 and then you pick one and everybody's happy.
Yes.
You know,
and one
it's-
of our listings was on one of those shows here
Yes.
in Nashville.
Right,
Actually,
we did. We had one.
and we went, and it was kind of fun to
It was
watch. But believe me, it is not real life.
it's not that glamorous.
What about a
is
piece of
not.
advice from your end too?
That's it. Probably. I kind of jumped into it and was fortunate.
So I'm going to say, let me just stop, Lena. She cannot give advice. She can give other advice, not about the money part of it. This lady right here jumped in with both feet, worked a full-time job, and I'm just telling you, she did not do that full-time teaching job. Like, she didn't take it lightly, and she also directed a musical the entire time that she was doing real estate, teaching, and directing a musical there. And I will say she ended up being the Horizon Award winner for our company. And we had like 10 offices at the time around Middle Tennessee. And I had to call her husband to get her to go to the awards show because it was like 2 days before her musical began. So
I didn't have time.
She was and the Horizon Award winner, it's not just for being a nice person. It is for sales, and it is for being the top agent with under 1 year of experience.
So you're like rookie of the year.
Yes, that's exactly
Wow,
right, Bart.
okay.
So she really can't talk a whole lot about that piece of it, but now she's got other advice I'm sure you can give her. But
Well,
yeah.
But you've got to be self-driven,
Yes.
self-motivated.
Yes.
You don't. You have to be a person that. And everybody's self-reflect. Be honest with yourself. Does it take somebody to kind of light a fire under me to get me going?
Right.
If
It
that's
does.
the case, then you've got to be a self-starter.
Yes.
Hit the ground running each and every day. Some people are built like that, and some aren't.
Right.
That's okay. We're all built different. But
Right. Yes.
That's a strong character trait you need to have.
And that's true. You have to, because it would be easy, because we don't have a 9-to-5 job. We don't have to be anywhere at 9 o'clock. It would be easy to stay home and do anything else, but you can't. I mean, you've got to get out there. I mean, you don't get, you may work months before you get that paycheck. So you really have to be up every day, going to something, doing
7
something
days a
for
week,
7.
too.
I
We
worked
work 7
all
days
day
a week.
yesterday
Yes.
and Saturday on things that we need to do for our
Yes.
business. So it's not a 5-day work
9 to
week
5
at all.
Monday through Friday.
But it's
job.
flexible, so that's good too. Though it is flexible, I can go to Carol Oakland's award day because where my grandchildren go to school, because we can do that.
Right.
But it's not where you can't take off and expect your business to grow. It's not
Right.
going to happen.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the TV shows, we talked about those for a 2nd. They glamorize a lot of what the job is, and so you see the fun parts. You see
Right.
going and looking at these beautiful
You see
houses
the selling sunset.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
and
it.
taking all of these people through these life-changing experiences, and that's a fraction of what that job really is,
Yes,
right?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hustle in it. There's a lot of grind in it. just to use some 2025 words, but it's a hard job.
Yes.
And I think you all have seen, you've seen a lot of ebb and flow with that.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of patience in that. There's a lot of being comfortable with the uncomfortable, I'm sure. It's,
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot. So you talked a little bit about teaching at Stoner Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Lena, what got you into teaching in the first place? You went to school to be a teacher.
I did.
Okay.
And that's because I had a wonderful choir director in 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
I was very shy
Yeah.
as a kid.
Me too.
And
Our stories are already aligning.
Yes.
This is really close.
and so she, started musical theater when I was in 8th grade, I think. And she became my voice teacher, and she opened me up to something that I didn't even know that was possible. I'm from a town of 10,000. We
Yeah.
didn't have these things, And she knew I was shy, but she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself.
It's okay.
And so she encouraged me. She believed in me. And I wanted to do that for kids. I really did. I never wanted, now I worked in theme parks in the summertime. I did all the little dancing
She
and
worked
shows.
in those shows.
Did you really? Yeah, I did all that. And I love being on stage. But to watch a child get up on stage and perform is just the best thing for me.
There's nothing better.
There's nothing
Yeah.
better than seeing them come out of their shell, and encourage them to do
Yes.
and let them have a voice. They
Well,
need a voice.
And
That's it.
it's really funny to hear you say all of that because that's my exact story. But my story is right here. It's right here in Mount Juliet. And now that I'm in this role, I get to see what that looks like in all of our schools.
which
And
is
that it's
fabulous.
not an uncommon tale. Our music teachers, our art teachers, our theater teachers, our dance teachers, they're all having profound impacts on students every day. And whether that's empowering them to want to teach the next generation of students or the next generation of teachers, or just create consumers and lovers of the art form, that's a really, really powerful thing that we get to do right here in Wilson County at a really high level. And we are fortunate that our schools do it in the way that we do. There are a lot of things that happen inside of our schools that don't happen everywhere else.
No.
Even when you look at some of the bigger school districts, there are a lot of things that we do that, especially at the middle school level. And I'm learning that right now. What we offer at our middle schools is uncommon, and it's a great thing because it gives our students opportunities at an early age to be able to experience and to grow and learn from those different outlets. And so
And that's exactly what I experienced it through my daughter. That is where, because Marianne started out with Lena doing chorus and musical theater, and literally it was with her. Well, she graduated with a vocal performance degree, so in college. But so it was with her. She did chorus, she did musical theater, and then did band, chorus, musical theater in middle school and all the way through high school. And it is unbelievable. Those kids need a place to go. It makes them feel like they belong. They have a spot. And talking about supporting the arts, that is why we feel so strongly about that, is because those kids and those teachers I hope they understand the impact they are making, because it is so important. I know that the impact that it had on my daughter, unbelievable. I can't even put into words how much it meant to her to have those teachers. For sure.
And you talk about kind of those entry level things. It gives them a place to go, but it's also giving them skills to take beyond that classroom.
It is.
Giving them skills, whether that's things that they employ in their everyday high school, middle school, and elementary school adventure, or if it's things that they take out and they take into the rest of their adult life.
Right.
It is more than just, we're glad you're here. It's fun to be in art class today. It's we're teaching ethic. We're teaching accountability. We're teaching what it looks like to plan for something. You know, when you're working through a musical, you're talking about a 6 to 12 month adventure that has to start somewhere. And if a student doesn't have a concept or a plan in that preparation process, that's going to be a big problem. And that preparation, our students learn a ton that they can carry over into something later on in life.
Problem solving, and just,
You're right.
just are getting up in front of someone
Sure.
and speaking. the confidence, and I think it's huge.
It's huge.
I've seen it change so much since I started at Stoner Creek in 2001, and not all the schools had theater.
Yeah.
And they had band and they had choir, but they didn't all have that. And it was sad to me that we didn't have it. And so I am thrilled that now we have theater and musical theater in all the high schools, in all the middle schools. Watertown.
Yeah.
Help me there. Okay. Yeah. And in even many of the elementary schools. Because if we don't start them in elementary,
You're right.
we're going to lose them when they get sometimes we won't get them in the middle school and high school. So I think it's important that we have it way down low, even in the second grade, that we have it start them early.
Yeah, my kindergartner would agree with that. She wants to be on every stage that exists.
Good.
We were out a couple weekends ago at an ice cream place in Murfreesboro because I'm the parent that takes their kid to get ice cream whenever we want. And there's this empty stage down at the end, and I think she could have stood there forever.
I love
That's
it.
great.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's the best.
Yeah, and our kids are full of those kinds of kids.
Yes.
My kid is not special in that there are students in all of our schools that are looking for an outlet, for a place to be featured.
Yes.
And a lot of what we offers that for many, many of our students. So Lena told us a little bit about why she got into teaching. Gina, why did you get into teaching? You spent a little bit of time in the music industry, and then you went into the classroom.
I did. So I'd already gotten my early childhood education degree, and before I moved up here, and I actually just had a love for children, and I do love children, and so it was just. And I love to teach. I love to help people, and that's just sort of my personality and what I enjoy. And so it was just kind of a perfect fit for me to go and get early childhood education degree. And so I knew what I wanted to do from a long time. I knew I had wanted to be a teacher. So, and I still do feel like I'm a teacher, just of different subject.
Sure.
You know? So, and that's how we approach a lot
Yes.
of what we do. But that is why I got into it, just for the love of kids and the love of teaching.
Love that. And I think that's a common story too. You know, if you're in teaching and you don't love kids, we probably need to look for something else.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're gonna spend a lot of time with a lot of kids, and
Yes.
and that passion for students and for learning has to be first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Or else your day's gonna be miserable.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
Nobody wants that. The kids
No.
don't want that. So.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It has been a pleasure getting to know you ladies a little bit better. We're not quite done. Before we let you hit the road, we got 5 fun questions.
Okay.
And they're kind of a fast-paced little deal. So,
Okay, we're ready.
But it is, we do this with just about every guest. But it has been so wonderful getting to know you a little bit more, and then our watchers, our listeners, getting to know the faces behind the title sponsor, and just some good-hearted, good local people that are helping people, former educators, great hearts, big hearts, and thank you all so much.
Well, and not just helping
Thank
us.
you.
I do want to make sure we note it's not just us.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
No.
that they have a handprint on countless programs across our district.
Yes.
Countless programs inside of this building. You know, HR goes to these folks quite often when they need some support. So it's not just us. It's
So thank you so
We'd love
much.
to help.
We do.
We really do. So,
Yeah.
and if any other schools need help, just give us a call.
Let us know.
Let us know.
All right, here we go. Favorite cafeteria food growing up?
Rectangle pizza.
I knew. Why did I think that was
Rectangle
coming?
pizza. I
Common
think it was
answer.
good. But now I
Rectangle
will say
pizza.
this: my favorite at Stoner Creek when I was a teacher was they made homemade kolaches. I mean, that's been
Ooh.
25 years ago. But rectangle
Wow.
pizza when I was growing up.
okay.
For sure. If you could swap jobs with anyone in the, we could do this one of 2 ways. Either anybody within the district or the county, whichever way you want to look at it. Who would that be?
Let's do the district.
Let's do the district.
You're
If you
both
think
pretty
about
connected.
anybody in the district, if you could swap jobs with that person, anyone, 4 is it a day?
One day.
One day. Who would it be?
Well, I already know. I think you probably know too.
I think so.
I have wanted Carter's job
Oh,
for the
because of
longest
fine arts?
time because of
Yes.
the fine arts. So, I mean, I would just like to just
I'd
shadow
take that.
him one
That
day.
may
Come
be,
on.
that may be a threat.
You're welcome.
You know, and I don't want your job.
No,
I don't want your
No,
job,
you
but
can't
I am
have her. You
no,
can't
no.
have her.
But I'm thrilled that
You go
we
sell
have
real
that
estate for a day
position.
and report back. I got to hear this.
But that we have that position in the county now.
Me too.
I am just, you just don't know. I
Yeah,
truly
that's-
am thrilled that you are here and that you're doing this.
Well, thank you.
It's been needed for a long time.
I agree.
And so it would be you.
Well, come on. You can come hang out anytime you want.
So I think if anybody watches or follows us on anything, they know I enjoy doing video and I don't mind talking and being behind a camera or in front of a camera, I should say. So Bart, I think I would probably trade jobs with you. I think
you can come make a video with me when it comes snow day season, which we're not
Let's
far away from
do
that.
it.
Let's
know.
maybe we could do something.
Let's
Okay.
do it. I think it'd be fun. We
I think
could
it'd
do
be
something.
pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
a plan in here somewhere. Like, we're going to go sell houses for a day. They're going to come sit in our building it'll be great.
Yeah.
I know. I think we could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It would
great.
be
Kind of
fun.
funny. It would be.
This is Carter. Hit him with this third question
of
because this is going
course.
to really play into to their love for arts and.
I hope so. So, Gina,
Oh.
Wilson County Schools Talent Show, we've asked you to come be a participant. What is your talent going to be?
Oh my goodness. I have no talent when it comes to that. I said I would do a monologue because I can stand up there and talk.
Just talk.
I'm a talker. I used to get talks too much on all my report cards. So, talker. I think I would do a monologue.
Monologue.
Love that, Lena.
Yes. So I was a voice major and piano minor.
Great.
So I probably would just come in and sing a song.
And we'd be blown away.
So just come in, maybe play, but yeah, probably something like that.
That's great. So, you play the piano.
Mhm.
If you could learn any other instrument, what would it be?
The violin.
The violin.
Okay.
Me too. And this is me being very transparent, being someone that was an instrumental teacher for a long time. Strings are not my strength. I was having a conversation with somebody last night, and they were asking me about all the different instruments that I can play. And
More of a wind guy.
more of a wind guy. And when they brought up the string instruments, I immediately rolled back and they went, okay, never mind. But me too.
Yeah.
Gina, what instrument would you learn?
I would love to be able to sit down and play the piano.
Yeah.
I took it when I took piano lessons when I was young, but I would love to be able to just play the piano.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, I love this question. When you're out and about in Wilson County or beyond and trying to buy houses, sell houses, what's playing in your car as you go from just from one place to the next? Because you got to be all over the place, and you're probably in your car a lot.
A lot.
So what's playing in your car? Do you even have time to play something in the car? Or is it more of a taking calls over Bluetooth, or what's happening in your car?
A lot of times we are on the phone. If we're not talking to clients, well, even if we are talking to clients, we're talking to them together. So 9 times out of 10, we're talking to each other on the phone. But if we're not doing that, I'm a huge sports first person. So I'm a sports radio talk.
Look at that.
I am. I mean,
We
I love
might
music.
be related. I mean,
But I love me some sports talk.
okay,
Yeah.
great.
So-
It's
Yep.
Titans has been depressing
Oh,
sports talk.
It's been really rough.
Hopefully
It's been
it gets
rough.
better. I don't know. I think Cam Ward's going to be okay. We'll see.
I do too.
I think it'll be all right. What about you? What's in your car?
I don't know if you know this radio station, but it's Air One.
Yeah.
It's the
Yes.
contemporary Christian station that is on in my car
All the time.
all the time. So that's what
Absolutely.
I'm listening to. Occasionally, a little rock.
I was gonna say,
A
I
little
love
set-
a little
classic rock.
Saturday
A little-
night,
yeah.
a little Sunday morning.
That's
yeah,
exactly
okay, I
right.
see.
Little
Have a
rock
little
on
classic
Saturday.
rock on
Yeah, a
there,
little
too. Me
classic
too,
rock
me too, for
sometimes.
sure.
But yes.
Actually, we're now the songs. There's a classic rock station in Nashville that, when I knew they were playing some songs that I kind of grew up with.
Yes.
And now they're classic rock. I'm like, whoa, that's classic rock.
It's kind of crazy.
It
Just
is.
wait. It gets better.
I don't know that that's true. Maybe it will. No, but thank you both so much.
You're so welcome.
We talked about it just a second ago, but we're just thankful for what you all have done for us, what you've done across our school district and in our community. You're really a vital part of what it takes to make this a successful community. And we're just thankful that you would allow us to be a small part of it. So thank you all.
Thank you.
And
We appreciate it.
Spending a early Monday morning with us, just getting to talk in front of the lights and the cameras. We're thankful you take that time.
It's great. We're excited to be here. And thank y'all again for all y'all do.
Yes.
For our
You're welcome.
county. We
Likewise,
appreciate it.
the respect and feelings are mutual. So we're glad that you're with us and we're here this morning and all that you do for so many. This has been Gina and Lena with Coldwell Banker-Southern Realty on this episode 8 of Wilson Live. Thank you for watching, listening, consuming this, however you may be doing that or wherever you may be going. But more to come with more Wilson Live episodes. But Again, this has been episode 8 with Gina and Lena. Thank you, ladies, for your time. Carter Noblin, Fine Arts Coordinator with Wilson County Schools. I'm Bart Barker, Public Information Officer with Wilson County Schools. Have a great rest of the day.